Well, happy holidays. We are live back here at Can TV. Meleika, happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays.
Why are you so happy?
I'm alive.
Yeah. Revin, you happy? I mean, I know today's show is about healing poverty, and how can we, with all the poverty that's happening and all the things that's going on, we talking about happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Well, okay. I guess we're going to get right into it.
We're going to get right. I mean, Brother Revin, what you say?
Well, Marvin Gaye said, "This ain't living. This ain't living, but we'll figure it out sometime, some way, somehow. It's got to heal."
Well, we got a great show tonight. We got an expert on, and we got some people, young people here that's going to talk to us about what they feel is happening in our city and state as it relates to poverty. This is F.D.R. Community Housing Foundation. We talk about building up communities. There's no way you can build up communities with poverty.
No, we need the resources. We need to build on our economics. I've spoken to young people who have gotten in trouble, and some of them say that it's not poverty driven. Some of them are just like there's some things that they just want in life, and they weren't in a position to get it. And then others are like, no, I got to feed my family and do what I have to do. And now we're in the holiday season, so it's getting real for a lot of people, a lot of families.
We got an expert here from Heartland Alliance, Marlon Chamberlain, and he's got some information. Let's introduce him, and then we have Kayin, someone from a youth perspective point of view. We're going to hear from them now. Let's go ahead and let Mr. Chamberlain in. Chamberlain.
Thank you, Rep. Ford, and to all of the other panelists. My name is Marlon Chamberlain. I am the campaign manager of the Fully Free campaign, which is a statewide campaign to end all permanent punishments for individuals with criminal records. I was arrested in 2002 and sentenced to a 20-year federal prison sentence. And as a result of a piece of federal legislation, the Fair Sentencing Act, my sentence was reduced from 20 to 14 years. So I served 10 and a half years, been home for 9 years. And even though I've been home for 9 years, I'm a college student, I've owned a business, I'm a homeowner, I'm married. And even though I've been able to accomplish all of what I've been able to do, this year I was denied an opportunity to chaperone my son on a school trip to a bowling alley because of a 25-year-old conviction. And so the campaign, as I said before, people like myself, every year are released from prison, but then there's all of these legal barriers, the stigma, and the limited economic opportunities that people have after you come out the system. And so the goals of the campaign is to end those permanent punishments and create opportunities for people, which we believe is crime prevention.
Well, what about poverty? I mean, how does this lead to poverty? I mean, so we want to heal poverty. We see the young people that's in the news every day. And let's just call it what it is. We see black young people in the news right now talking about carjacking, or we're talking about their carjacking, we're talking about their smashing and grabbing, we're talking about all sorts of things.
It's anger.
Anger?
It's anger at their reality. They're angry, and so they're acting out. So they're gonna get what they need. They're just gonna take it. I'm not making excuses, but I'm just.
Yeah, you
I
got
understand.
it. Yeah, Rita, what do you think? I mean, is it poverty? Is it poverty that's doing this to our young people? What is the what could we attribute this type of behavior to? Is it just what they say? Well, no, they say they need some better parents.
Well, the parents are victims too, products of systemic racism. We all are. Yeah. Everybody, you, me, all of us are, and it's how you respond to it.
Yeah.
Well, I think the part we're leaving out, the statistics and research show, I don't know the numbers, but children are more influenced by their brothers and sisters and other things other than their parents. So while we
think
of
the parents as the role
model, the statistics say they're influenced by their brothers and sisters. And of course we know the internet, rapping, and basketball and social media is playing a role. So the parents have a little less control than they think. And if they begin to do spare the rag, sport the child concept and start dealing with that they've taken the power away from the parents. So they're putting the parents at a disadvantage in this situation, I believe, to be able to. And then the world, everybody's taking. America, take it, take it, take it. We go and bomb countries and take it. And our children watch people grab and snatch everything illegally. We tell them to go buy the book, and they're seeing everything, and they flash, you should be a basketball player, you should be rich, you should do all this. And everybody don't make a hard-earned living to get those things. They're watching people steal or pass down. So the children are going with the trend. They're being seduced in this and manipulated through social media, and people's action of driving great cars and saying, this is the way of America.
Well, I mean, you speaking for the youth. Let's see what the young man has to say. Kayin, from the South Side, Revin, let's see if you are on point. Introduce yourself and tell us what's your take on this poverty issue that we're seeing in the city, in the country, in Chicago. Smash and grab, carjacking, people sleeping on the street because they're homeless. The youth under attack and retaliating.
Right. Well, good evening. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for having me here. It is a pleasure. And my name is Kayin Beauchamp. I'm 22 years old, so I'm in that age range where like I can still be connected to like the youngest, and I still can get some respect from my elders. But as far as this poverty thing goes, the youth, I mean, with today's day and age being the age of information, a lot of people forget how much the youth actually know about you guys, the elders. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people forget. Nah, I mean people that's older than us, not to be disrespectful.
No,
you know, but like Revin was saying, like they'll tell us to do things the right way, but then research shows that you guys, not you.
It's okay, like just flow.
You know,
you got
older people, they are manipulating us. They're telling us to do things when we're in this situation because of your failures. But you won't tell us that directly, and then you expect us to, be the success of you guys when it don't go like that. And another thing, like we were talking earlier in a Zoom call, like with the age of information, us being the youth and us being able to really get a lot of information and figure out ways to make money online and stuff like that, both legally and illegally. And just if you don't have access to the internet, with other people having access to the internet and then creating systems to make money illegally, like it's easy. And we're able to, use the influence we have and the lack of knowledge that the elders have to really like do what we want. And the fact that the elders don't respect what we're truly trying to do out here.
What you trying to do? What you trying to do, Ken? That's what they tell them.
A lot of people, they just want to do what they love, like anybody.
That's right. Yeah.
Anybody, they just want to do
why don't they stay in school and get the training? Why don't they get that training for what they love to do in the school systems?
Well, it's not our fault. We didn't make the school systems. We just go there. And what you guys teach us, like I was literally talking to one of my homies the other day. I literally remember the first memory of Black people being taught in school is being in chains, So it's like, okay, the education system is messed up and it's been messed up. So we're here now, we already got whatever knowledge we got from the education system.
Did you hear that? The first was the chains.
Did we not talk? We talked about that at the Capitol, that has an impact on our young Black youth, their self-identity, their self-worth, their self. Yeah, it's embedded.
Let me tell you why you nailed something, Kay. What did you say we got to teach our kids?
We have to teach pre-enslavement who we were prior to the shackles and chains. Yes.
And not to cut you off, but I'd say the main thing that's wrong would be, that identity. Don't nobody know who they truly are, as far as like our community, our people. So we don't know who we are. We don't know the cultures that we have. And so when y'all try to tell us to do things, when the reason we in this situation is because of y'all, it's just like, okay, well, you know, you ain't telling me nothing different. You know, I got to make it on my own. Like, I just literally trying to do things right. You know, I had asked my parents multiple occasions. You know, we living in Chicago. I'm a young black man, and you know, I create value. So it's just it would behoove my parents to sign this FOID documentation so I can get, you know, the what I need the right way. You know, but you know, it's a stigma about this and everything. You know, long story short, they didn't want to sign the documents, and I was in a situation where I was robbed, like, and it was like to the point where like I could have died, like, you know, and not even my fault. It was just how it is in the city because of poverty. People are trying to steal. People are trying to do everything, you know.
What
And
is poverty to you? What does poverty mean to you?
Poverty means like, in terms of opportunity, just being malnourished, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a perfect definition. You know, I remember when I was his age, my stepfather had asked me, he was like, what do you think of rich people that have all the resources and the money? And in my view, at that time, I felt like you had to do illegal things to make a ton of money. So I myself, when I was young, his age, I got involved in some things I shouldn't have been involved in because the money was fast, and and I was able to live the way that I wanted to live. And I felt the people who were doing everything right, it just looked too much like a struggle. It looked too hard.
Yeah, but that's, you know what, it is a struggle, and that's what we got to realize. You know, we have to realize that it is a struggle, and I don't think we teach young people that it's okay. It's going to be a struggle. Every day is going to be a struggle. You're going to win, and on the same day you're going to lose. But that doesn't mean that you have to give up.
Right. Right.
Forward.
And you end up having to pay for it in the end anyway.
You know, our young people have a phone that's a computer that tells them everything. When you have Chicago listed as the most corrupt place ever, and people going to jail for stealing contracts, construction, TIF money being raped for their school districts, they not crazy. They watching people rob and take things, and then they give it to their children and pass it, and then we get the back end. We telling our children, they watch their grandparents work hard and they foreclose on their homes. They watch their grandfather work hard and build a house and come back and be taxed out. And so these children are watching us go through struggles and then watch people disrespect us, and we don't demand that they give us our rightfully due. These children are not going to sit by and let people run over and tell them, y'all just take your time. And we stand to be the only race of people to pass down our children's children debt. And he sees it, he knows it, he's watching, his conscious. I have a list of things right here from the ETA. It's called, let me read this to you right now. It's called the Equity and Transformation. It's talking about the survival economies. It says multiple hustles. Most surveys responded and engaged in multiple cause hustles, income generating activities pursued on the absence of stable employment, and most common activities were 5% working on automobile mechanics, 7% working on artists, 7% selling incense, 9% selling soda and water, 11% shining shoes, 12% working as a mover, 14% working in construction, 18%. So this goes down to DVDs, shoes, and everything. So our children are being asked to take their time while everybody's taking hours and we're not getting reparation. They're not going with the hustle. They're not going with the hustle.
What'd you say, Marlon?
Now, I was gonna just add that if you look at the city, county, and state budgets, and you look at the budget line items that have continually like just grown, it's more than likely the police department, the state police, and IDOC. And so even when we think about poverty from on the west side and the south side, there are neighborhoods that have looked the way that they look, like worse off when I was a kid. And so why is it that we're increasing the budget line items for the police and IDOC, but we're not looking at the school systems and how do we take these abandoned buildings and fix them up and create opportunities and jobs for people, because poverty is a mindset. Because if I wake up every day and I see 10 abandoned buildings on my house, then why would I wake up and have hope and expect to live for something?
I got to bring in our young guy here. I got to ask you, Karen, we talked earlier and you shocked me when you told me something. I said, why don't you guys, not you, why don't these guys just go get a job at McDonald's, White Castles, Kentucky Fried Chicken, or Walmart? You got an income $15 an hour. Sometimes they might get 20, depending on where they go. You told me something that was shocking. How much are they making on the street, Kayin?
It's on average, just a lot of people out here making at least $1,000 a day.
$1,000 a day.
That's just on average,
And if I could say, you can't have failing schools that don't teach black boys and girls and then tell them to go get a job and not a business. And then at the same time, cost of living going up for food, clothing. And most young people, when I was a caseworker at Family Focus, there was young brothers, 17 years old. Their mothers were strung out. Daddy wasn't there. They were getting their children, their sisters and brothers, taking them to school and paying the rent and bills, trying to survive. 16 years old, 17 years old, being a man of the house.
So what drives poverty, Kayin? What drives this poverty? Tell me what it was like growing up. You're still pretty young. You're 22 right now. You should be if you wanted to go the path of higher learning for college, you would probably be graduating this year. Or you would already have a career in some trade. What's your status? If you want to talk about it.
Okay. Well, right now, I work with Q, Mark Quinn. He's been my coach and my sensei for 10 plus years. So if I had any trade, it would be the self-defense, and I stand on that heavily, because through that I've been able to not only like lock in mentally and figure out, okay, if I'm gonna defend myself, and on what level does this go? You know what I'm saying? It goes mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and moral. You got to really take these aspects of health into account so you can preserve yourself. But aside from that, I did go to Howard University.
You went to Howard? All right. HU?
I did. Yeah, HU, but I didn't graduate because I ended up getting a contract that I really wanted, and I took it. Told myself, if I get this contract, I'm going to leave, and I told my parents and everything. Only thing that happened is COVID hit. As soon as that happened, threw everything off center. But because I do have a trade, I was able to keep myself afloat. And I do have a business as well, Catalyst Black, a promotional agency in which we use education and entertainment to really promote health and wellness.
Promote it. Tell us all about it. Let's get you some people so that they can support your business. You gonna hire some black youth?
Oh yeah, that's one of our main missions, is to bridge that generational disconnect. As to why Coach put me on this panel discussion, because you see it right now. This is a testament to the work that we got going on. We really about this work. So, I'll just say this: like, I've been at a couple talks with some higher ups in the city, and it always boils down to the same thing. Like, a lot of this is high level, small talk.
What grammar school did you go to? And tell us about what opportunities were at your grammar school, what opportunities should have been there, going to high school, what opportunities were there, and how did you see those schools failing some students that didn't want to go to HU, didn't want to go to college, but may have wanted to work in the studios, wanted to work with their hands? What do you evaluate our system?
Right. Okay. Well, in elementary school, it's pretty much up to your parents, unless you know what you want to do as a kid. Like, you love playing soccer, you love playing basketball. Other than that, it's pretty much up to your parents to decide what opportunities they're gonna put you in. And most of those, I'll be the first to tell you, I got some good parents. They didn't do me wrong. At a young age, I was into music, so they took me downtown, but I had to go downtown for this. but they took me downtown to learn like piano and stuff like that, or they took me over here to do gymnastics and stuff. And when my father had left, my mom took me to coach so I could train in self-defense. So these are some of the opportunities outside of school that are available, but nothing inside of school is available for you.
In grammar school or high school?
Grammar school, high school, you know, they got in some schools. I won't say like all schools, because a lot of schools are worse off. Like I know some of my friends, like they literally, the teachers be talking to them like disrespectfully, like they kids, like, you know, they just trying to learn, and you talking to them in a disrespectful manner, in a way that like you belittling them. But you know, I was blessed to be in a okay school. Kenwood Academy is where I went to, so you know they had a lot of, you know, better things that a lot of schools didn't have, you know. But I know specifically, like it was like schools like, you know, Hyde Park Academy, where a lot of my friends went to, and just other schools that were, you know, the teachers and like the resources there, like some, it's like it's mixed. Like some, you got those individuals, like you're an individual and you're cool, and then the structure of the school is just built against you though.
Mm-hmm. Most schools, let me say this, and everybody take a look tomorrow when you drive by. Most schools in Chicago, elementary schools, look like prisons.
A prison.
When you drive by, and you ride, you don't look like a institution of learning. And if you start at Mount Carmel, and then you come to Hyde Park, and you end up at Kenwood, and you go to King, you'll see there's a difference. And I say again, tomorrow, all of the listeners, drive by schools for Chicago black children. They look like institutional prisons.
Yeah, I was in Palatine, Marlon, and I went to Palatine High School. I went to Rolling Meadows High, and they had trades in the schools. They actually had automotives. They actually had students inside the school cooking, culinary arts. They had people sewing in the school classrooms. They had studios like this. It was unbelievable that these kids in a small town actually had all of those resources, and I don't think I could go to one school in Chicago and find that, Marlon. What you think?
Now, I was going to refer back to your question around what breeds poverty, and I was going to say racism, because poverty is simply a lack of resources. Mm-hmm. And I think we've heard it over and over and over tonight. When you give folks opportunities, people will take them. But when you have a limited amount of resources and options, people do what they have. There's a difference between living and thriving. And I think what we've seen is that we've seen historically resources go to places like Palatine or Naperville, but then they ignore the west and the south side of Chicago.
And if I can, let me say this, Rep, so people don't get up tomorrow. Mr. Fellows said the schools ain't no good. I'm saying the structure of what they look like outside, if you look at it, there's a lot coming good out of there. Attention, Hyde Park has one of the top of the line studios in Chicago for movie and film.
Well, let me help you. We went and we did some tours, Brother Revin. You and Meleika and myself, we walked around some Chicago public schools. So there are some schools in the city that have greenery. They have a nice greenery. They have a nice playground. They have nice swing sets. They have it all. But there are some in neighborhoods that we toured. They were not healthy for kids. I got to tell you guys, with the help of Kayin, on the 22nd of, let me make sure I had that right, on the 22nd of this month,
Wednesday,
we're going to be downtown at the Thompson Center. And it's going to be an opportunity to hear from the youth, listening to the black youth downtown in the Thompson Center from 10 to 1. On that date, Chamberlain is going to be, not Chamberlain, but Ken is going to be on the panel, and he's going to be making sure that he controls the narrative. We're going to listen to him, and he's going to help us get this right for the youth. We're going to go over to a theater right across the street from the Thompson Center, and the owner of the theater is going to meet the young people, and he's going to talk about getting the trades, getting them in the trades, because in the theater industry, there are hundreds of jobs. You have camera person, you have IT, you have just name them.
Mm-hmm.
You got all those types of. So we're going to be working with the Chicago theater industry to put young people to work. That's going to lead to us helping Revin as we've been working with the Chicago film industry. Thousands and thousands of dollars being put into, I should say millions, put into the Chicago film industry. Black kids could go to work right there in that trade. We're going to help. So I got to ask, because we got to close out in the final, I need everybody to tell me. We know the kids are smashing and grabbing. We know they're shooting. We know they are carjacking. Is it their fault? We're going to let you have the last say, Kayin. Marlon,
Want me to answer now?
you're gonna have the last say. So you're gonna listen to them because Revin, go ahead.
No, my question is, if they take the TIF money from the schools that's for disadvantaged communities, and you take and build up Lincoln Yard, and you build up downtown and give tax credit to these stores, I want to know, when you go down there, if where they smashing and grabbing after George Floyd, how many black people on their corporate board? That's what I.
And so, is it the youth fault that's smashing and grabbing, or is it not? Is it our fault or the youth? What do you say, Marlon?
So I definitely think there's a level of personal responsibility, but like Revin said, I would also say, when you create an atmosphere or an environment where people are starving for opportunities, and you have all of these hundreds of legal barriers blocking.
We only have a few minutes. You got to get it to us.
Yeah, when you have all of these other elements that contribute to like that behavior, like, it's not just their responsibility.
That's right.
Yeah, what you say? Oh, okay, yeah, okay. They just extended this for us, so I can relax a little bit. Go back at it, Revin. What were you saying?
No, I'm saying to you, it's just like when we championed the film industry with CineSpace. They got millions of dollars for CineSpace to come over in Lawndale, and then black students graduate Columbia College, DePaul, and they want to be actors and have to go all the way to Hollywood, and we give them tax credits, and they should be catching the bus down the street right there in Lawndale. We got the police protecting the black community in Lawndale of bullets, but at the same time, they protect the CineSpace on bullets that's not real at the same time. So we have an inconsistency that we're giving our tax dollars away and then tell our children to work to go to Hollywood and they have to leave the town, and they got tax breaks to come here. That is what's going on. Our children see the hustle. They see the hustle.
HU.
No, but yeah, I'm a firm believer in that. Like, if generally speaking, I would have to say that it's not the youth's fault. But if you really want to be, like, real about it, like, each and every person is an individual and they can think for themselves. So just like, a lot of this is like I said earlier, high level small talk. Like, everybody knows why we in the situation we in. Do I really have to explain? Like, everybody knows, and everybody knows what'll help. Do I really have to explain? Like, no. Like, if we need to go into detail, then we can do that. But long story, like, to just keep it short, like, it's not opportunity, it's not money, and we don't really have ownership of anything that's going on around us. So, that was all the little opportunity, ownership and stuff we had. Do research, like, we know what's happened to it, So why are we still stuck on these topics of discussion when we should be more direct and strategic with the questions that we answer? So, the questions that we asking, so the answers we can use, in that moment.
You're going to bring the youth. They're going to have their voice on the 23rd. You got us covered. They're going to speak out and send a strong message, Kayin?
Yes, sir.
What date is it? Is it a Wednesday?
It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
Yes.
Wednesday. Okay.
Hey, Rep. Ford, let me piggyback on what he's saying. Now, No. Let me say this: John H. Johnson, Salt Sheen, Seaway Bank, Chatham Grocery Store, Ebony Magazine. All of our banks are gone. All of our businesses are gone. We don't have any of those to pass down our children. And we lost that under Black leadership in our generation, and we're not passing that down to the children. How long should they wait for a transformation to be included and be respected?
Marlon, give us some closing marks.
I think my brother just what he said was excellent. The only thing I would add to that is you flood the community with drugs and then and a lack of opportunities, but tell people not to pick it up.
Oh,
Like it makes no sense at all. Like if that's a way where I can provide and provide for my family, it's almost like you're forcing somebody into that.
so you hear what he said? So if they didn't have the drugs to sell, they wouldn't sell the drugs. If they didn't have the guns to shoot, they wouldn't shoot.
They wouldn't shoot.
So we could keep the jobs and the education out, but we can't keep the drugs and the guns out. That's something.
It's a setup.
And we can close down the trade school so they can't pick up a hammer for a gun.
Well, I think that on the 22nd, we're going to do every Wednesday, we're going to be at the Thompson Center. And the youth are coming downtown strong. We're probably going to have 100 or 200 youth coming into the Thompson Center, walking down State Street, walking down Michigan, black youth showing that they want help. Come and join us. Come and join us. And Marlon, tell us real quick about Heartland so that they know how to reach Heartland Alliance and how they could get help.
Yep, you can look us up on the fullyfree.org. That's our website. You can sign up to receive campaign updates and action alerts. That's fullyfree.org.
And I got to tell you that there's something else that's going to really be spectacular, even.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. We're going to honor the Chicago very own South Side Wolfpack. The winners, the ones that went national to play football. They're winners. We're going to have the coaches there, and we're going to also honor the Lady Wolves. They are major players in this city, and we're going to honor them and the coaches at the Thompson Center this Wednesday on the 22nd at 10 o'clock. You don't want to miss it. We're going to take black youth downtown Chicago, and we're going to demand help for them. They're asking for help. HU, close out.
I just want to say thank you again for this opportunity. Like, y'all don't know, like, on a personal level, this is what I wanted, for us to start bridging these generational disconnects, bridging those gaps, because a lot of what I see a problem is, the youth, they don't want to listen to y'all because we know y'all messed up, and y'all don't want to listen or hold any high regard with us because of the stuff that we doing. So it's just, we button heads. And I noticed, a lot of the youth won't be like, okay, you can only learn some things from a mentor. You know what I'm saying? You can only go through, you can only figure out some things from, a mentor about like yourself, your identity, your people, it's just, man, like this is a good step.
All right. Thank you, HU. Meleika's going to close us out.
Thank you so much, Kayin. I'm looking forward to meeting you Wednesday. Thank you so much, Marlon. Thank you for all of your work. And, of course, Revin and Rep Ford. You all come back and join Chicago Hill. The door is always open to you. And my take on it is that, it's systemic racism at the root of all of it. And my generation, the generation before us, and we all move the needle just a little bit. But we just got to keep moving it together.
Well, this has been our episode of Chicago Hill. Find us where?
Right here, Can TV.
And on all our social handles.
On all our social media, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, Instagram.
All right.
Where else?
WVON, WCPT. We'll see you on tomorrow at 2 o'clock on WVON.
Yep.
Peace. Happy holidays.